Our next guest is our weekly visitor from the Walton Insurance Group, Ric Walton. Hi, Ric.
Hey, Bart, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good too, pretty good. It's a little warm out there today, but I'm not complaining.
No, nobody can, people, it's too early in the summer to complain about the heat.
I tell you,
And it's going to be gone. It's going to be cooling off
when?
Sunday.
But to what extent?
81 on Sunday, upper 70s next week.
That'll be comfortable. I mean, it's. I want to see this warm weather. Of course, at night it's been pretty good at night.
Oh, the nights are great.
Yeah. Really, really nice. And I've got a bunch of cousins coming up that come to the lake, rent at the lake, and
They rent?
They rent
From you? You
No.
rent your place?
I wouldn't rent I wouldn't rent my cousins. Are you think I'm crazy? Something like that. No, they used to own a place at the lake. And they said, it's just too hard for them now. And they live in Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
And every summer, really back when I was a little kid, they'd come up and we'd spend 2 weeks at my grandparents at Ackerson Lake. And we'd all stay there. I don't know how we all stayed in there. It wasn't a big house or anything. And they had just had one son, who was 8 years older than me. And I knew I drove him crazy because when you got a cousin that's 8 years older than you think he's pretty cool. So I wanted to hang around him.
Well, when you were how old?
Well, I would be 8 and he'd be 16.
Oh, okay.
Or 6, and he'd be 14 or whatever.
Okay.
And we'd have to take me to the movie or do whatever. And back then, I think we had a little motor at one time. We rode a lot of times across the lake and did stuff. And I mean, it was a great way to grow up for 2 weeks with your cousin and some of the other cousins that came around and everything else. But they're coming up this summer, and they rent. And they're going to rent for just 2 weeks. They used to stay up here a long time, not renting as long, but it's their last name's Walton too, and it's nice to see him. And he had a bunch of kids, and I had a bunch of grandkids, and it's just fun. So.
At Clark Lake?
At Clark Lake, yeah.
Well, what's there to do in Evansville, Indiana during the summer? I mean, it's got to be...
Evansville is hot and humid.
Yeah.
And they really like coming up here because it's generally not as hot or humid.
It's beautiful here. It's
Oh my gosh.
Summer paradise, year-round paradise. We live here. I think a lot of us take it for granted what we have, the beauty of Michigan, the great parks and lakes in Jackson.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People do not know, and the parks are great too. We don't talk about them enough, and even the small parks that are around and everything. I mean, it's just really is pretty fantastic. And I remember going out to, I can't think where I went to exactly. And I was going out, rode my bike on the trail, going towards Spring Arbor and that. And the park, you could stop along there. I'm trying to think of the name of the lake right now. But just these little parks that are around that you can go to and swim or have a picnic or whatever you want to do.
You can ride your bike to Lime Lake and just jump in the lake and go swimming.
I think now Lime Lake, there's a division.
Right.
Is it Lime Lake on both sides?
Yes.
It is that. I didn't really know on the left side. I knew on the right side it was. I don't know if
It's both Lime Lake.
Both Lime Lake. And it was Lime Lake. That's where we'd ride a bike out to and do that type of thing out there.
Well, there's several, there's little ponds and stuff. There's rivers that are along the trail as well, and creeks.
Right. Well, remember that time when we took the canoe?
What?
We took the canoe and went over the railroad down in and went down there, and you thought you were up north, and you're right almost downtown.
Right, we went on a canoe. It was amazing. I saw you're talking about how beautiful these summer nights are. I love it when it's hot in the day and it cools a little bit, still summery at night. That feeling was at the Selby Track meet when the sun went down, the breeze picked up. Oh my gosh, it was just a beautiful night.
It was perfect. I mean, when that sun came out, I felt bad for those kids at first, but for the most part, the sun was down underneath the cloud there, and it was a perfect night. And then, I mean, talk about a great facility. I just can't get over how cool that facility is there. And you just look there, and you look back on that campus and see everything from the baseball field, which is a beautiful baseball field now, to Al Glick building right there, to the stadium itself, and then looking back on the school and the pool it's just, I don't know how you get a better facility, especially in high school. I don't think there is a better facility almost anywhere.
Yeah, it's a marvel. Yeah. And the new turf as well on the field.
And the new turf.
Which is beautiful. So, Ric, you were in the shot put area.
Yes.
Were you concerned you might get hit in the head?
I was thinking about using one of those shot lists for to do an exercise. You know, I can't believe, Bart, I don't know if you know how much one of those weighs.
We do. We looked it up.
Yeah, we're sitting there, Bart and I said, how much those things weigh? I said, yeah, great question.
Well, it's 7.28 kilograms, which is, well, nobody knows what that is.
Right.
16 pounds.
16 pounds. I want you to think about it, people. And they
It's
get
this
up
big-
there and they throw them, I think 40-some feet. I think it was the winning one. I think it was 40-some feet. And how high, I mean, I watch these kids, and to me, I've never watched, I don't think that much shot putting. And those kids, and most of them were pretty stout boys, but to think they could pick that thing up and throw it up almost as high as the ceiling in here and go 40 feet plus.
And then they have to go out as far as they threw it and pick it up and bring it back.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's what I thought I was there for. You know?
Well, some of them have their teammates go. But I guess when you're practicing, I mean, you got to go out and go pick it up yourself.
I mean, that was impressive. That really was impressive.
Yeah, all those athletes. It's amazing. Every year the Selby, it's the all-star game of track and field.
In Jackson, it definitely is. And I remember when that started. I forgot what year. Do you remember what year it was now?
No.
And they said something, I remember on the loudspeaker, and I meant to pay attention. I mean, we could look it up again.
Well, it was in honor of James Selby. And did you know James Selby?
You know, I really didn't really know him. As I knew his brother Philip Selby, really quite well. Philip was a year older than me. And I knew his mother. Mrs. Selby was a great lady, too.
Well, it seemed like, I was listening to the PA announcer. He died in the war, in the Vietnam War. Is that right?
You know, I didn't. That's what I wanted to hear again, because I was so mad at myself that I wasn't paying attention then when they were announcing that. And I thought, darn, they were telling the history on that, and I really don't know the history. And I meant to go back and see if I could some way look it up to find out.
We'll have to look it up. But yeah, in honor of James Selby, the track meet in his honor, and it's a great tradition. Did you ever? You didn't do track. You were baseball, right?
Baseball player. Yeah, I never did track. You know, I never.
But you were there because your grandson was.
Yeah.
What was his event?
Actually, he ran 4 events. He runs the 100 meter, the 200 meter, the 1x4, 4x1, whatever you call it, and then a 4x200 relays. Yeah, he's had a great season and learned a lot. You know, I mean, I really think if you want to be an athlete, almost in any sport, if you can run track, I think it really helps you. You know, because speed is so important, and quickness, of course, is so important, and that helps you.
So many of those track athletes, they are running multiple events.
Right.
And there were kids that they'd finish one event, and then 2 events later, they're back up going all out.
I don't know how you do it, because, you know, in all those events he's in, you got to give 100%. You're not running a long distance. Not that long distance is any easier. I could not do that at all. But you're going as hard as you can go for either 100 meters or 200 meters.
And the stress, you've got shoulder to shoulder with competitors, and
it's a great meet, because I think it was more than the county.
It's the area, and it's been the definition of the area has changed over the years, because I remember Chelsea used to be part of it, but it's no longer.
Yeah, Homer was there though.
Homer, Stockbridge, and Leslie,
outside
and Manchester, I think, are the out of
I don't know if Manchester was there, maybe they were there, but I don't even remember either. But but it was great to see those kids, all those kids around there, and it's just nice. I mean, I think anybody should participate, if they can, participate in some kind of athletics.
You know, Rick did not know the Rose Parade was this Sunday when he came in. And by the way, did you know when you're in the green room and we get that shot of you before you're on, there's no microphone. We can't hear you.
I'm talking to him.
We're having a conversation.
I'm having a conversation with him. I said, get out of my face.
Every time.
Every time. I mean, I'm trying to read the headlines and everything else. He's bothering me. You know, I'm preparing before the show today, going over our lines, that we rehearse every week. So, I'm in there just contemplating, so nervous before I come on here, because everything else out there.
That's why we have those fine products from Daniel L. Jacob and Company.
Alcohol, you mean? Yeah. No, I get a water today. I tell you, today is a water day. It's
So now that you know, we got the Rose Parade Sunday. We've got really a lot of things going on. The Pause in the Park on Saturday, but we've got. You'll probably will your grandson be at the state meet?
He's going to Grand Rapids area.
Yeah.
Ida or where, something like
Rockland or
that.
Rockford or
Rockford, I
something.
think it's Rockford, yeah. I think he's doing one of the relays is what I think he's doing up there. And
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
That's a fun experience. To stay.
You know, I've never attended that, and I'm not
Oh
sure
yeah,
going.
it's great.
Well, you know, I saw Andy still has the record for the high jump since whenever he went out of school, but for
2000.
the whole meet anyway. I mean, forever for the
Yeah.
meet, for that matter. Yeah. So it was pretty cool
Yeah.
when he did that. You know, is he still high jump?
No.
I'll bet he still could. I'm sure he could. It looks like he's still in pretty good shape.
Well, apparently, according to David Rice in the control booth right now, Andy was offered opportunity to run the alumni mile.
Right.
He said no.
Well, I could have too. I said, "You think I'm stupid? I could walk it."
There were a lot of people that were did the alumni
I was surprised.
mile.
One girl ran barefoot.
One girl ran barefoot.
Barefoot through the alumni mile.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow.
because back in the day there were no shoes.
There were no shoes. Back in Vermont, is that what they were like in Vermont back in the day? You know?
The original Olympics, they didn't have shoes.
Probably didn't.
Birkenstocks.
Yeah,
No, they,
Birkenstock. Probably original Olympics, they didn't have shoes. You know?
so now that you know that what some of the things are happening this weekend, what are you doing this weekend?
I didn't know all this. What did you tell me? All you told me was a parade. Is it,
Rose Parade. Pause in the Park, I said.
oh, Paul's in
Yeah.
the park.
And then I talked about you'll be at the state track meet.
Yeah, well, that's
Saturday.
on. No, actually, my cousins are coming up this
Oh.
weekend, so it's kind of our start to getting together with them. And, you know, we do a lot of traditional things like go to Jackson, Coney Island and eat conies, you know. It's really been, that's another big thing with my dad and my uncle. They always ate conies. You know, a big night was us, go down to Jackson, Coney Island, get a bunch of conies, and get a pizza somewhere.
Yeah.
Pizza, Andy's Pizza or something like that. At one time, Jackson Pizza Factory, when they were around too, we used to do that. And, I mean, that was a real tradition. And we go play basketball and see who gets sick first. You know? back when we could do that, you know, get some of the old guys against the young
So
kids.
after you got to go out, you got to collect the check from your cousins when they get here for the rent.
Yeah, no, I'm not renting my place. No, not
Oh,
renting my
okay.
place. You know, yours was a tradition. We went. It was a big deal, and this is really a big deal since they've come up here for. Well, shoot, I think about it. It's over. Well, actually, my cousin, I guess, probably been doing this for over 60 years because he had to be. I don't know. Like,
This could be their anniversary of their up north trips.
it could be, but we'd go to the parlor, you know, Loudon Jackson's this time and all that stuff. That was such. If we didn't do that almost every other night, you know, it was unusual.
It's neat, you know, bring people in from out of town. There's a lot of great places to take them.
It really, I mean, like I say, we talk about all the beautiful areas they've got around here, and you know, go to the Irish Hills and do some of those things, or just drive out in the country and you'll be amazed what you find and everything else. Oh, you want to tell us we're all done or what?
They're playing us off.
Let's play this off, right?
Well, thanks for coming in, Rick. Have a great weekend.
No, you too. Thank you. Always good to see you guys.
Yes. Good luck to your grandson.
Thank you.
At his state track meet Saturday. Thank you, Ric Walton. That's it. We've run out of time. Thanks to Rick and everyone with us here today, our great crew, and our wonderful sponsors, including the Walton Insurance Group. And thanks to you for tuning in. We sure appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.